And welcome back to Philly Sports Spotlight. Our guest once again, Werner Berger, the oldest person in the Western Hemisphere to summit Mount Everest. But, as we found out before the break, Everest is just one of 7 summits conquered by, when I say conquered, I mean conquered by Werner. We've talked about Everest, Kilimanjaro, Aconcagua. Tell us about that little 18,510-foot anthill in Russia that you climbed.
Well, that was a little bit difficult because we climbed in snow and I was really lost relative to directions up and down. But got to the top. That was the main part.
We joke about how big it is. I mean, compared to Everest, this is for you. This is, but you said you got a little disoriented there. Now, most people are opening gifts on Christmas Day 2004. You, my friend, were in Antarctica doing what?
Climbing Vincent Massif, the tallest mountain in the Antarctic.
Tell us about that one. A lot of snow. Look how small. See how small those people are?
Well,
that shows you how big that stuff is. I mean, see them down there in the lower right-hand corner on the screen?
On the morning that we got up, it was minus 45 degrees.
Wow.
And there was wind, and we weren't sure that we could summit. However, we decided to start off and we'd back off if we needed to. There was actually a temperature inversion, and it got warmer as we got to the top, and we ended up on top for about an hour without gloves on.
Most important question, did you have your long johns on?
Oh, you bet.
Yeah? Every one of these mountains, I'm sure, has a different feeling when you ascend them. Now, to get to the next summit, which is Summit 5 on our list, you had to travel all the way down under. You have to go to Australia. Tell us about that trip.
Well, Australia's mountain is called Kosciuszko.
Thank you.
And some people would call it a joke because it's only 7,200 feet. And on the way up, we saw families come down with babes in arms.
So people were shopping at Costco, you said? Or was that the name of the mountain? Okay.
That was the name of the mountain.
That's just amazing to me. Even still 7,000 feet. I mean, those are the natives that we're talking about. We're used to that, right?
No, these actually were Australians.
Really?
Australian
just people
families.
who got into there, they went, let's go for a drive.
That was the outing. There's
Okay.
also a ski lift that gets fairly close to the top.
Okay, well, I can see why that was a little bit of a joke. Now, for the next summit, you got to pack a backpack, which you do for all these trips. Travel to Denali, okay, which is National Park Denali, where we found Mount McKinley. Talk about that trip. Look, it took you a month to climb it, it says, May to June?
Well, almost. It was
Oh, really?
24 days the first time. It took 3 attempts.
Really?
We were
Okay.
stopped by weather twice, and then the final time got to the top finally. And it's tough because you're dragging a sled with about 60 pounds, and you've got a backpack on with about 50 pounds, and most of the mountain you climb twice with that weight.
Well, here's video of you. This is actually you right here climbing up the mountain with a backpack on. And what do they call that? A
That's
snow
a
bridge?
crevasse.
A crevasse?
That's a crevasse
Yeah,
with a
you want to
snow
stay
bridge
away from
over
those
it.
things. Those things look a little scary. You ever afraid that they were just going to?
Well, that's always a possibility. So you really need to check and make sure that it's strong enough to carry you across.
Werner Berger, the international man of mystery. Now, I've told you, it takes a lot to impress me. And I've been around some very impressive athletes. But what you're about to do may be the most incredible thing I've ever heard. You've climbed, it's taken you 20 years to climb those 7 summits and some other small mountains. What are you going to do? What's your next big task?
Starting next year, I'm doing all 7 again in a 12-month period.
And how old are you now?
I'm 75 at this point. Going to be 76 in a month.
What can you say? That's just, how do you do it? How do you keep going? How do you keep on going?
Well, there are a couple of things you have to do to be healthy. One of them is you've got to supplement, you've got to exercise, you've got to reduce toxins, and you've got to create a balanced life and sleep enough. Those are the keys.
All right, well, how do you train for this? I mean, you're not just going down to the fitness center and throwing up some weights. I mean, obviously, this is some aerobic stuff involved here, correct?
A lot of cardio and, of course, upper body strength and leg strength. But then the supplements really are key because you cannot just go to a health food store and buy good supplements. Our foods are nutritionally depleted, and you really need to find top-of-the-line products. And they're available.
That's amazing. So I got to start eating the right food is what you're telling me.
That's
And getting some
that's a
aerobic.
start.
So I'm
But you-
getting some aerobic work.
And that's a start, but you cannot eat right anymore because of our nutritionally depleted foods.
All right, I want you to tell me about an award you recently won. The Pennsylvania AARP gave you a Reimagine Award.
Yeah,
I
it
can't
was-
imagine what this is about.
It was called the first ever Life Reimagined Award,
Okay.
just simply living outside of the box.
Oh, you're doing that, my friend. You're living outside of the box, on top of the world. I mean, what was your speech when you went up there to talk? What did you tell the people?
What do I tell people?
When you were there that day, when you received the award, I know the funny thing was, folks, he goes up to receive the award. What does he do? He kicks off his shoes. Why? Because at his age, he no longer has to take off his shoes going through the metal detectors at the airport. This is what excites this guy, right? Isn't that what you did?
Absolutely.
That excites you, huh?
Age is a privilege.
No, that is funny. No, but seriously, that day when you went up there to take that award, what did you tell the people?
I don't remember what I told them.
All right, you need some more supplements.
You
You need some more supplements, my friend. If you can't remember that, you need some more supplements. Listen, I want you to stick around, okay? We got one more segment left to go, and I want to tell people how they can get in touch with you because I think that more people need to hear your amazing story. So with that said, we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we'll also have the answer to our trivia question, which has been baffling you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, I
I've
can see
been
you
thinking
scratching your
about
head.
it.
Folks, we'll be right back, right after this. And as we return to Philly Sports Spotlight, we do with tonight's Future Fitness Trivia question. Here was the question. Sir Edmund Hillary was one of the first to summit Mount Everest, but he was also the first to do this. Here it is. Climb Mount Everest and stand at both poles. That's the North and the South Pole. I know you knew the answer to that. I was just kind of playing with you earlier when you said. You know, thank you very much for coming on our show. By the way, our trivia question comes to the great folks at Future Fitness, because you know why? There is nowhere in the Delaware Valley that does fitness better. And you should know all about fitness. Look at you. Not an ounce of fat on you.
Thank you.
Werner, thank you very much. I know that you're throwing out a challenge. You're going back to the Everest Base Camp. You're throwing out a challenge to have people come with you. If they want to do that, how do they get in touch with you?
They can contact me through my website, wernerjberger.com. And since you're talking about challenges, I brought a team shirt for you. I'm hoping you join us in October on the trek.
It's a triple XL. He brought me a triple XL shirt. Werner, thank you very, very much. And also we want to thank Nancy Ottaviano for Winnie Edge for bringing you to us today. Good luck on your trek. We're going to catch up with you later, okay?
My pleasure,
Folks,
Phil.
thanks for joining us.